The alarms of the Galactic Senate roared like thunder across the marble halls. Thousands of alien delegates rose from their seats, shouting in confusion, their voices echoing like waves crashing into each other. Something impossible had happened. The largest empire in the galaxy, the Dravic Dominion, had fallen. Not in years, not in months, not even in weeks. It had collapsed in a single day. And the worst part? The one responsible was not another empire, not a rival fleet, not a rebellion within. It was a single human. No one in the Senate believed it when the news arrived. Some called it lies. Some thought it was a trick. But the recordings were clear, undeniable, and horrifying. A lone human had entered Dravic space at dawn, and by dusk, the Dominion was gone. Whispers filled the chamber. How could one human do this? What weapon did Earth hide? What secret power did humanity keep from the galaxy? At the center of the Senate floor, High Chancellor Verkath struck his staff down, calling for silence. His 4 eyes burned with fury. In fear? Explain this madness, he demanded. How can one human destroy what countless fleets could not? Who is he? What has Earth unleashed? The chamber fell silent as the witness was brought forward. A trembling alien captain, scales burned and armor cracked, stumbled onto the floor. He had been there. He had seen it with his own eyes. And he was one of the few survivors who had escaped the destruction. The captain's voice shook as he spoke. It was no army, no fleet, just one human. He came with nothing but a single ship. At first we thought it was a joke. We laughed when his vessel entered orbit. But then he stopped, shivering, as if the memory itself clawed at his mind. Then the stars went dark. Gasps filled the chamber. Delegates leaned forward, their claws, tendrils, and hands gripping their seats. The captain continued, his words broken, but urgent. Our defense cannons failed. Our ships lost power. He walked through our capital as if time itself obeyed him. Our armies fired, but their weapons turned against them. Entire fleets burned in seconds. The Dominion's proud banners fell before sunset. He looked at us, and he smiled. Silence struck like a blade. God, a soul dared to interrupt. The Chancellor's voice was low, almost a whisper. And his name? Captain looked down, his throat dry. He called himself Daniel Reeve, a human. The chamber erupted into chaos. Shouts of fear, denial, and outrage filled the air. Impossible. Humans are primitive. No single being can destroy an empire. But deep down, every delegate knew the galaxy had changed forever, far away, on a quiet blue planet called Earth. Daniel Reeve sat alone on a rooftop staring at the stars. His ship, the same vessel that had toppled an empire, rested silently in orbit above. His face was calm, but his eyes carried a weight no ordinary man should bear. He had not destroyed the Dravic Dominion out of greed or conquest. He had done it because he had no choice. Dominion had made a mistake, a fatal one. It touched Earth. They thought humanity weak, unworthy of notice. They thought they could enslave its people, just as they had enslaved hundreds of worlds before. But they had chosen the wrong target. The moment Daniel received the message, the moment he saw the burning cities, he acted. He used the weapon Earth had sworn never to unleash. A weapon hidden for centuries, built from a technology no alien mind could even comprehend. With it, Daniel became a storm that erased an empire in a single day. Now, the galaxy trembled. Every empire, every council, every warlord asked the same question. If one human could destroy the Dominion, what could humanity do if it truly unleashed its power? The answer was unknown, but one thing was certain. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again, and Daniel Reeve, he was not finished. Because the Dominion was only the beginning, the galaxy could not sleep, across thousands of worlds. The same words spread like fire. Human destroyed the Dravic Dominion in one day. The news traveled faster than light. Traitors whispered it in spaceports. Soldiers muttered it in bunkers. Entire planets looked at the stars with fear. If one man could break an empire, then what chance did anyone else have? In the secret chambers of the Galactic Council, the leaders argued. The chamber was vast, shaped like a hollow sphere, where delegates floated on platforms around the center. Each represented a world, a species, a power. All were nervous. "This cannot be ignored," hissed Counselor Rithek, a mantis-like being whose claws clicked against the railing. "One human has changed the balance of power. If Earth hides more like him, our empires are in danger." Others shouted in agreement. But some were silent, afraid to speak. Finally, a calm voice rose above the noise. A Counselor Cyrell, a tall figure of pale light, leaned forward. "You speak of fear, Rithok, but fear blinds you. Reeve acted as a conqueror? Did he seize worlds for himself? Did he enslave anyone?" Silence answered. Cyril continued. "No, he destroyed the Dominion because they struck Earth first. This is defense, not conquest. Do not mistake one man's power for humanity's ambition." But the others did not calm. In fact, the silence made them more restless. "If this Daniel chooses another target," one delegate whispered, "who will stop him?" The question hung in the chamber like a shadow. None had an answer. Meanwhile, Daniel Reeve sat in a hidden base deep beneath Earth's surface. The walls glowed faint blue, lined with strange machines technology. Not of alien origin, but human. Machines built in secret. Machines no one outside Earth had ever seen. Daniel stood in front of a large sphere, its surface shifting like liquid metal. This was the weapon he had used. It's not a bomb, not a cannon, but something far older, far more dangerous. The voice of General Carter echoed behind him. The old soldier's face was tired, his uniform creased, but his eyes burned with the same fire Daniel carried. "You understand what you've done?" Carter said. "The galaxy now fears us. They will not see us as victims anymore. They will see us as a threat." Daniel turned, his expression calm but firm. "They should. The Dominion thought we were prey. They thought Earth was weak. They were wrong. If the galaxy needs to fear us to leave us alone, then so be it." Carter shook his head. "It won't end there. They won't leave us alone now. They'll come together, all of them. Not because they want to attack Earth, because they want to control it." Daniel didn't argue. He knew the general was right. The galaxy would not sit idle. Empires that once fought each other would now unite against a common danger: humanity. And yet, Daniel also knew something they didn't. He touched the sphere again, and for a moment, the metal surface rippled like water, showing flashes of stars, broken fleets, and burning worlds. "This weapon isn't ours," Daniel said quietly. "It doesn't belong to humanity. It's older, much older. We didn't build it. We found it." Carter's eyes narrowed. "And where exactly did we find it?" Daniel gave a small, grim smile. "Beneath our own planet." The silence that followed was heavier than any words. Far away on a border world, once ruled by the Dravik Dominion, a small group of alien survivors gathered in the ruins. They whispered about the man who destroyed their empire. To them, he was not Daniel Reeve. He was the destroyer. Children trembled when his name was spoken. Priests called him a demon wrapped in human skin. And some began to worship him. Galaxy was splitting into two paths: fear and devotion. Some would want to kill him. Others would want to follow him. And Daniel, he wanted neither. Wanted only to protect Earth. But destiny was already moving faster than him. Back in the council chamber, a final decision was made. The Chancellor raised his staff and spoke in a voice that carried to every corner of the hall. "We cannot allow this human to act again. If he wields such power, then we must strike before Earth becomes untouchable. We will send envoys to Earth. If they resist, then we prepare for war." The vote was taken. One by one, the empires agreed. Not all were eager, but all were afraid. A message was sent across the stars, a message that would reach Earth in days. But Daniel Reeve was already waiting. He knew they were coming, and this time, he would not be alone. The Galactic Council's message raced across the stars like lightning. Every ship, every relay, every listening station carried the same order. Earth must answer, for the first time in history. Dozens of rival empires spoke with one voice. They agreed on nothing before, but now they agreed on this. Humanity was too dangerous to be left unchecked. A massive fleet gathered at the edge of Sol. The home system of Earth, it was not one empire's armada, but a combined force. Ships of every shape and size filled the void-sleek cruisers of the Volari, heavy dreadnoughts of the Kron, living bioships of the Urith. Never before had so many enemies stood together, and all of them had one target. Earth. From the command bridge of the flagship Dawnbreaker, Admiral Zoroth of the Kron Empire stared at the blue planet from afar, his tusks clenched, his claws digging into the railing. He had seen the recordings of Daniel Reeve. He did not want to believe them, but he could not ignore them either. Man cannot do this, he growled. There must be more like him. Hidden army of humans waiting to strike. Beside him, the Volari captain replied coldly, her eyes glowing like shards of crystal. Perhaps, but we are here to find the truth. If Earth resists, we burn it. The fleet moved closer. On Earth, alarms rang in every hidden base. Satellites tracked the incoming armada, their numbers impossible to count. Panic spread among leaders, soldiers, and even civilians. Earth had always been prepared for invasion, but never against the full strength of the galaxy. In the underground base, General Carter slammed his fist on the table. This is exactly what I warned about. They're here because of you, Daniel. Because of what you did. Daniel Reeve stood at the far end of the room, calm as always, his hands behind his back. He looked at the holographic projection of the enemy fleet and spoke in a steady voice. They're not here because of me. They're here because of fear. They believe humanity is hiding more weapons. They believe we're already a threat. Are they wrong? Carter snapped. Daniel didn't answer immediately. His gaze shifted to the glowing sphere resting in the center of the room, the same weapon he had used against the Dominion. Its surface pulsed faintly, like it was alive. This is not a human weapon, Daniel finally said. It is something ancient, something buried, and I am the only one who can control it. If I fall, this power falls into their hands. Do you understand what that means? Carter's jaw tightened. He understood. If the Council took the weapon, the galaxy would never be the same again. Entire civilizations could be erased in moments. No empire would resist using it. The choice was simple, but terrifying: defend Earth and risk galactic war. Surrender the weapon and watch the galaxy tear itself apart. Daniel turned to the others. I will meet them. The room fell silent. You'll. What? Carter asked sharply. I'll face their envoys. If they want to speak to Earth, they'll speak to me. If they want to test us, they'll test me. I ended the Dominion in one day, and now the galaxy wants to know if that power can be controlled. I'll give them their answer. No one argued further. They knew Daniel's mind was set. Days later, in orbit above Earth, a smaller council gathered aboard the Dawnbreaker. A group of alien envoys waited inside a grand chamber. They expected Earth's leaders, perhaps a council of humans. Instead, one man walked in alone, Daniel Reeve. The aliens stiffened. Some drew back in fear, others glared with hatred. The air grew heavy with tension. You, Admiral Zoroth, growled. The destroyer. Do you come to surrender? Daniel's voice was calm, almost too calm. I come to speak. But if you want surrender, you'll be disappointed. The Volari captain's eyes narrowed. You admit you destroyed the Dominion? I admit I defended my world, Daniel replied. The Dominion made war on Earth. They slaughtered my people, ended them so they could never return. That is the truth. The chamber shook with shouts. Some envoys called him a murderer. Others accused him of lying. But one thing was clear: fear filled every word. Daniel raised his hand, and the sphere appeared in front of him, floating in the air. Its silver surface glowed, casting light across the chamber. The envoys fell silent instantly. You fear this? Daniel said. But understand, this is not your enemy. I am not your enemy. I do not want your worlds. I do not want your thrones. I want only one thing: the safety of Earth. For a moment, the chamber was quiet. Some of the envoys looked uncertain. Perhaps, just perhaps, they believed him. But Admiral Zorath's voice cut through the silence like a blade. Safety. No. Human. You have made the galaxy unsafe. As long as you live, none of us are safe. If Earth truly values peace, then hand over the weapon, or we will take it by force. Daniel's calm expression darkened. His voice was low, heavy with warning. Try. The chamber grew colder, every envoy frozen in place. For the first time, they saw not just a man, but something greater, something they could not understand, yet could not stop, and they realized the truth. War with Earth was no longer a possibility. It was a certainty. The first shot was not fired by Earth. It came from the Galactic fleet. A single beam, bright as a star, lanced through the void and struck one of Earth's orbital defense stations. The explosion lit up the black sky, and in that moment, peace was gone. War had begun. From the surface, millions of humans watched the streaks of light above their world. Some cheered, believing Daniel Reeve would protect them. Others trembled, fearing this was the end, in the hidden base. Alarms wailed. General Carter barked orders. Soldiers rushed to their posts, and the great silver sphere pulsed brighter than ever before. It was as if the ancient weapon could sense the danger. Daniel Reeve stood in the command chamber, calm amid the chaos. His eyes followed the enemy fleet as it spread like a net around Earth. Thousands of ships, tens of thousands of weapons, all pointed at one small blue planet. They want fear, Daniel said quietly. So let us give them truth instead. With a gesture, he activated the sphere. The weapon rose into the air, its surface rippling like liquid light. A low hum filled the base, then spread into the skies. Across Earth, people felt it in their bones, a vibration deeper than sound. In orbit, alien ships shuddered as their systems flickered. Engines failed, cannons powered down. Entire dreadnoughts went dark. On the Dawnbreaker, Admiral Zorath roared in anger. He's disabling our fleet. Fight back. Fire everything. But their weapons would not answer. The Valari captain stared at her dead controls in horror. This is impossible. He commands energy itself, Daniel's voice echoed, not just in the chamber, but across every channel of the fleet. You came to destroy Earth. You came with fire and fear. But you never asked if Earth wanted war. You will learn today that we do not bow. And then, with a flick of his hand, the stars lit up. The enemy fleet screamed as dozens of their ships were pulled into sudden collisions. Energy shields collapsed, reactors overloaded, hulls tore apart. In minutes, hundreds of warships were burning wrecks. But Daniel was not without cost. His body shook, sweat dripped down his forehead, and his breathing grew heavy. The sphere was not a toolet. It was alive, and it demanded strength. Every second he held its power, it drained him. General Carter grabbed his arm. You'll kill yourself. What? Daniel shook his head. His eyes glowed faintly with the same silver light as the sphere. If I stop now, Earth falls. Above, the war raged. The United Fleet tried to retreat, but the trap was already sprung. Earth's hidden forces revealed themselves fleets of human warships, cloaked until now, surged from the dark side of the moon and from Earth's deep orbit. They were fewer in number, but faster, sharper, and backed by Daniel's power. For the first time in history, humanity fought not to survive, but to win. In the council chamber light years away, panic spread as real-time reports flooded in. Delegates shouted demanding answers, demanding retreat. The Chancellor slammed his staff down, but his voice carried no weight. The galaxy was watching Earth break its chains. Meanwhile, in the ruins of the Dravic Dominion, survivors watched the battle. Through intercepted signals, to them, Daniel was no longer a man. He was legend, a force written into history with fire. Some cursed his name, others whispered it with reverence. On the Dawnbreaker, Admiral Zorath made a final, desperate choice. He ordered his dreadnought. Forward, straight at Earth. If we fall, then we take the human with us. The great ship charged its main cannon, a weapon powerful enough to shatter continents. Despite Daniel's interference, it fired one last, blinding shot at Earth. The beam streaked toward the planet unstoppable, but Daniel Reeve was already moving. Raised his hand and the sphere flared like a star being born. Light poured across the skies, meeting the cannon's fury head-on. For a moment, the heavens burned white, and then the beam shattered. Scattering harmlessly into the void, the Dawnbreaker cracked in half, torn apart by the force of its own failed weapon. Admiral Zorth's final roar was swallowed by the explosion. The surviving fleets broke. Some fled into the darkness. Others surrendered, their ships drifting powerless in orbit. The battle was over. Earth had won. But in the command chamber, Daniel collapsed to one knee, the sphere hovering weakly above him. His face was pale, his strength nearly gone. General Carter rushed to his side, fear flashing in his eyes. "Daniel? Are you Daniel?" Raised a trembling hand. "I'm alive, but not for long if I keep using this. The weapon is not mine to wield. I can feel it resisting me." The galaxy expected Earth to fall. Instead, the galaxy saw something else. Its greatest fleet shattered, its proudest admirals broken, and its power humbled. But victory did not bring peace. Whispers began to spread through the stars. If one man could crush an empire, if Earth could resist the united fleet, then what secret power lay hidden on that blue world? More dangerously could that power be stolen? In the ruins of the Dawnbreaker, drifting near the orbit of Mars, scavenger ships from distant empires crept close. They searched the wreckage for fragments of Daniel's light, for broken shards of the weapon's strange energy. Many never returned. Their ships were found hollow, their crews gone, their systems burned out, yet still they came. The galaxy's hunger for the weapon was greater than its fear. Inside Earth's underground base, Daniel Reeve struggled to recover. His body still carried the scars of the battle. His hands shook, his veins burned, and his dreams were filled with whispers from the sphere. Sometimes it called to him, sometimes it warned him, sometimes it felt alive. General Carter stood watch, his face grim. He saw Daniel weakening, but he also saw the fire in his eyes. "Can't keep using it," Carter said. "This thing isn't just draining you, it's trying to take you." Daniel looked at the silver sphere, floating quietly in its chamber. "It doesn't want to be used. It wants to be understood." Carter frowned. "By who? By us." "Something else?" Daniel didn't answer. But deep inside, he already knew. The weapon was not human. It was not alien. It was something older than both. And then the signal came. Earth's deep space sensors picked up a new fleet. Not from the Council, not from the Dominion's ruins. Something older, something silent. A formation of black ships, massive and cold, emerged from the void beyond the edge of the galaxy. They carried no banners, no signals, no language. Their design was unlike anything in the records, and they were coming straight for Earth in the Council chamber. Panic returned. "Who are they?" shouted one delegate. "Where do they come from?" No one had answers. The Chancellor's face darkened as the truth became clear. "They are not ours. They're not part of any empire. They are something else, something ancient." On Earth, Daniel felt the sphere tremble before the black ships even arrived. It pulsed violently as if afraid. Daniel touched it, and for the first time, he felt not power, but fear. "They know," he whispered. "Whoever they are, they know what this is. They're coming for it." General Carter clenched his jaw. "Then we fight them like we fought the others." Daniel shook his head. "This isn't the same. They're not here to conquer Earth. They're here to take back what they believe is theirs." When the Black Fleet reached the system, they did not attack immediately. Instead, one colossal ship, larger than any Council dreadnought, moved into orbit above Earth. A beam of dark light stretched down, scanning the planet. A voice, ancient and heavy, echoed across every human channel in every language at once. "Return what was taken. The Keeper must come home." His blood ran cold as he realized the sphere was not a weapon. It was a key, and he was bound to it. Carter looked at him sharply. "Keeper, what do they mean?" Daniel's voice was low. "They don't want the sphere alone. They want me." Before Carter could respond, the sphere flared with light.
Oh.
Images filled Daniel's mind, of stars burning, of galaxies collapsing, of these same black ships moving across creation like shadows of death. The weapon was not meant to conquer. It was meant to stop them, and now they had come to reclaim it. Daniel fell to one knee, gripping his chest as the visions tore through him. His voice was strained but clear. "This isn't just about Earth anymore. The galaxy thinks I'm their enemy. But these things? They're the real threat. And if they take me, no one will be able to stop them." Outside, the Black Fleet prepared to descend. Earth's defenses powered up. Council spies watched from afar. The galaxy held its breath. And Daniel Reeves stood between two impossible choices: protect Earth and risk war with an ancient power, or surrender himself and doom the galaxy. Either way, the real war had only just begun. The Black Fleet hung above Earth like a wall of night. Their ships did not glow, did not hum, did not flicker. They were silent, darker than the void itself. Even the stars seemed to fade near them. The people of Earth looked up with fear. The Council fleets, scattered and broken, kept their distance. No one wanted to come closer. The galaxy itself seemed to be holding its breath. And then the voice. Return the Keeper, or your world will be erased." The sound carried across every channel, every speaker, every screen. It was not a threat. It was a command in the underground base. General Carter slammed his fist on the table. "They're not negotiating, Daniel. They want you. We can't let them take you." Daniel Reeves stood still, his eyes locked on the silver sphere floating before him. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat, as if it too feared the Black Fleet. "They're not asking," Daniel said quietly. "They're warning. If I don't go, they'll destroy Earth. Millions will die before. I even raised my hand." Carter leaned closer, his voice sharp. "And if you do go, what then? They'll kill you. Or worse, they'll use you. You think they'll stop with Earth? No, if they take you, they'll burn the galaxy?" Daniel's face was calm, but his heart pounded. He knew Carter was right. But he also knew something else. He was the only one who understood the sphere. If the Black Fleet truly wanted him, then he was more than just a man. He was part of something far greater, something older. "Prepare a ship," Daniel said at last. Carter stared in shock. "You can't be serious. I'll go to them," Daniel interrupted. "But not to surrender, to learn. To know what they are and why this weapon exists. If I'm truly the Keeper, then I need to understand what I'm keeping." Carter's fists clenched, but he didn't argue. He knew Daniel would not be stopped. Hours later, under the shadow of the Black Fleet, a single human vessel rose from Earth's surface. Inside, Daniel sat alone, the sphere glowing beside him. The Black Armada did not fire. Instead, they opened a path, drawing his ship toward their largest vessel, a colossal structure shaped like a shard of endless night. When Daniel stepped inside, the air felt heavy, thicker than Earth's atmosphere. The walls were black metal, smooth but alive, pulsing faintly with dim light. He was led into a chamber vast and silent, where a single figure waited. It was tall, twice his height, cloaked in shadows. Its face was hidden, but its voice was the same that had spoken across the stars. "You are the Keeper." Daniel's voice was steady. "I am Daniel Reeve, a human. If I'm the Keeper, then tell me, what is it I keep?" The figure raised a long hand, pointing at the sphere hovering beside him. The core of silence. It was never yours. It was placed on your world long before your kind walked upright. It is the lock, and you are the key. Together, you are meant to hold back the end. Daniel's chest tightened. The end. Figure's voice deepened. The hunger, the true enemy, the dominion, the council, your wars, these are nothing. The hunger devours galaxies, and without the keeper, it will rise again. Daniel felt the sphere pulsed violently, almost as if agreeing. He staggered, gripping it with both hands as visions filled his mind, vast shadows swallowing suns, whole star systems falling silent. Screams across the void, he gasped for air, his body trembling. And you? What are you? The figure stepped closer, its shadow looming. We were the Watchers. Once long ago, we carried the core, but we failed. We lost it, and so it was hidden on your world. You were chosen by accident, human. The core bonded to you because no one else was near when it awoke. Daniel's voice was barely a whisper. If I refuse you, duh. The chamber darkened, the figure's voice like thunder. Then Earth dies, and when the hunger returns, the galaxy dies with it. Daniel closed his eyes. He thought of Earth, of the Council, of the billions who already feared him. He thought of the choice he had made when the Dominion came, the choice to fight. Even if it meant becoming something more than human. When he opened his eyes again, the glow of the sphere reflected within them. I am not your prisoner, not your tool. If the core chose me, then I am keeper by right. And if the hunger comes, then I will face it my way. The chamber trembled. The Watcher's shadow grew darker. You defy us? Daniel raised the sphere high, its silver light blazing brighter than the black walls around him. His voice was clear, unshaken. I defy anyone who threatens Earth. For the first time, the shadow stepped back, and in that moment, Daniel knew the Watchers feared him too. The Watchers did not attack Daniel. It's not yet. Instead, they withdrew into the shadows of their vast ship, their dark fleet circling Earth like vultures waiting for a corpse. Their message had been given. Daniel was the keeper, and without him, the galaxy would fall. But they had not expected him to refuse. Back on Earth, fear and confusion spread. News leaked of the keeper, of the Black Fleet, of the ancient enemy called the Hunger. Some humans believed Daniel was their savior. Others whispered he had doomed them all by defying the Watchers. In the hidden base, General Carter confronted him again. His voice was sharp, filled with anger but also desperation. Do you even know what you're doing, Daniel? You're gambling with the survival of our entire species? If these Watchers are telling the truth, then the galaxy is already doomed. Daniel sat silently, the core floating beside him, its silver glow reflecting in his eyes. When he spoke, his voice was calm. I know they fear me. That means they're hiding something. If they truly wanted to save the galaxy, they wouldn't need to threaten Earth. They'd ask for help. Carter's jaw tightened. And what? If you're wrong, Daniel looked at him steadily. Then I will carry the core alone. If I must burn with it, I'll burn. But Earth will stand. Before Carter could reply, the alarms blared. A new signal flashed across the system. This time, it was not the Watchers. It was something worse. The outer sensors picked up an impossible reading, a region of space simply vanishing. Stars blinked out. Entire sectors went silent. Signal carried no ships, no signatures, only a wall of nothing that moved closer, swallowing everything in its path. Daniel felt it before the computers confirmed it. The core pulsed violently, almost screaming. His voice was low, shaken for the first time. It's here. The hunger has awoken. Across the galaxy, panic exploded. The Council abandoned its debates. Worlds screamed for help. Fleets tried to flee but vanished as the darkness caught them. Entire empires collapsed in days, their light devoured, and yet the Black Fleet of the Watchers did not move to stop it. They waited, watching. Daniel clenched his fists. They want me to surrender to them. They want the Keeper under their control. Before the hunger arrives. They don't want a savior. They want a weapon. Carter's voice was grim. Then the question is, can you fight both? Daniel didn't answer. He didn't know, but when the hunger finally reached the edge of the system, he knew he had no choice. The blackness came not as ships, not as armies, but as a living void. Where it passed, stars dimmed and matter unraveled. It was not an enemy. You could shoot or burn. It was a force, endless and mindless, like hunger itself given form. The Watchers sent their message once more. Return the Keeper. Alone you will fall. With us, you will survive. Daniel stood in the command chamber, staring at the growing darkness beyond the edge of Sol. His voice was firm, steady, unbroken. No, I'll fight it here. I'll fight it as a human. If the galaxy wants a keeper, then it will have one but not a servant. The core blazed with silver light, brighter than ever before, and for the first time, its voice filled his mind. In words, Keeper, the choice is yours. Bind me, and we stand together. Refuse, and all will fall. Daniel closed his eyes. He felt its weight, its fire, its ancient power pressing against his soul. If he accepted, it would no longer be just Daniel Reeve. He would become something greater and something far less human. Carter stepped forward, his voice heavy. If you do this, Daniel, you might never come back. Daniel opened his eyes. They burned with silver. Then I'll go where no human has gone, but I won't let Earth fall. Not today, not ever. He raised his hand, and the core sank into his chest, merging with him. His body shook, light pouring from his veins. Chamber walls trembled as energy surged through him like a storm. The hunger had reached the edge of the solar system. Stars flickered. The void moved closer. And for the first time in history, a human stood alone against it. Daniel Rivla, Keeper of Earth. The final war had begun. The void had arrived. From the edge of the solar system, the hunger spread like a wall of night. Planets shook in its wake. Moons cracked. Entire asteroid belts simply vanished. It was not a fleet. It was the end of all fleets, with silent swallowing life. In the hidden Earth base, every screen went dark one by one, as the outer colonies were consumed. Soldiers stood frozen. Commanders whispered prayers. General Carter clenched his fists, but his eyes were locked on only one man. Daniel, he no longer looked fully human. The core glowed inside him, silver fire racing through his veins, his eyes burning like stars. He stood tall in the command chamber, but his voice was heavy, as if 1,000 voices spoke through him. The hunger is endless. It will not stop, but I can hold it. For a time. Carter stepped forward, his voice cracked with both fear and awe. Daniel, what are you now? Daniel's lips curled into the faintest of smiles. Still human, it's carrying something. Older, the alarms wailed again. The hunger reached Neptune. The giant planet twisted, its clouds pulled apart like smoke before it vanished into nothing. Earth had hours left, maybe less. The Watcher's fleet moved closer. Black ships surrounding. The system like vultures, their voices echoed across every frequency. Keeper, join us. You cannot hold it alone. With us, the core will endure. Daniel raised his hand, and for the first time, the silver light within him flared outward. A shockwave rippled through. Space shoving back the shadows for only a moment. The hunger recoiled, hissing like a wounded beast, but it was only a pause. Not a victory. Daniel's face hardened. If I give the core to them, Earth dies as a slave world. If I keep it, Earth dies free. The choice is simple. Carter's voice thundered. Then fight, damn it. Humanity is to end, let it end screaming. In the enemy's face, chamber shook as Daniel stepped forward, rising slowly into the air. Silver wings of light burst from his back, wrapping around him like armor. His voice rang like thunder, filling every ship, every station, every human ear across Earth. This is not the galaxy's fight. This is not the Watcher's fight. This is humanity's stand. I will show the galaxy what a human can do. He vanished in a blaze of light, streaking into space faster than any ship. The hunger struck. Crashing into the edge of the inner system, the void rushed toward Saturn, tearing its rings apart. Daniel met it head-on. The collision shook reality. Silver light slammed against the endless black. The void roared, stars flickered, and for a brief moment, the galaxy saw something it had never seen before. The hunger stopped. Daniel's voice boomed across the coms, carried by the core. I am Daniel Reeve of Earth. Keeper or not, I am human. And I say this ends here. Unleash the core fully. Planets glowed as his light. Wrap them in shields. Earth shone brighter than the sun. Humanity's fleets, small compared to the empires, rose behind him not in fear, but in defiance. The void pushed harder. Daniel screamed, his body burning, his humanity stretched thin. Every second felt like eternity. Light dimmed, flickered, then blazed even brighter. Like a dying star exploding dot, Carter and the soldiers watched from Earth. Tears filled their eyes as they saw what no one in the galaxy would ever forget. One human, standing against the end of all things. The watchers trembled in silence. Their black fleet did not move. They'd gambled that the Keeper would kneel. Instead, he rose higher than any of them ever had, at the edge of Earth's orbit. The final clash came. Daniel drew all the core's power into himself. His body cracked with light. His voice was soft, almost human again. For Earth. For all of us. And then he released it. A supernova of silver fire erupted, blasting across the system. The hunger shrieked, tearing apart, dissolving into fragments of shadow. The black void shattered, retreating into nothingness. The light spread farther past the solar system, past the nearby stars, burning a wound into the hunger that the galaxy could see from across its spiral arms. And then, silence. The void was gone, but so was Daniel. Earth floated safe, shielded in the last echo of silver light. Humanity survived. The hunger was beaten back for now. The Council, the Empires, the Watchers, all of them, saw what had happened. They saw a single human carrying the core. Defy the unstoppable. General Carter stood in the silent chamber staring at the stars. His voice was rough but steady. Remember this day. One man showed the galaxy what it means to be human. The galaxy will never forget. Above Earth, where Daniel had stood against the void, the stars still shimmered faintly silver, as if his light refused to fade. The galaxy waited because though the hunger was beaten, it was not destroyed. And somewhere, somehow, Daniel Reeve, the Keeper of Earth, was not gone. He was waiting.